Good evening, I am Zach Parris, and over the past 8 years, I have had the distinct pleasure and blessing of working with you all to do ministry on campus. And while I am the pastor of Lutheran campus ministry, these days I feel much more like Moses and the people of God. You see, for around a month now, I've supposedly been working from home. This is in addition to my newly assigned duties to provide 24/7 childcare to a 3-year-old. And so it may not come as a surprise, but I haven't been that productive since the beginning of March. There are simple work projects that I just can't seem to get around to. There have been Zoom calls. And if you can keep a secret, I can tell you that I may not have always been that engaged in the calls. In the background, there is often a semi-nude preschooler running around covered in a substance that, in the best of cases, is finger paint. And this brings us to another reality of my existence over the past month. And that is, I have been a thoroughly mediocre parent. At my best, I built a clubhouse in the backyard. We've been learning to ride a pedal bike. But at my less than best, we've watched so much TV. There have been hours upon hours of screen time. And there may have been just one time when we lost patience with one another. Of course, all of that sits on top of the layer of stress that is a once-in-a-lifetime global pandemic. And so, truth be told, I am completely overwhelmed, trapped by forces beyond my control, pushed on all sides against responsibilities that I cannot seem to fulfill. It is in the wake of a local pandemic that we find the people of God in this story. The Egyptians had not observed proper social distancing. Plagues ran wild. Every family lost a son. And now Pharaoh has chased down those who he blamed for their infirmities. And caught between Pharaoh's army with their backs against the sea, Moses and the people are completely overwhelmed by forces beyond their control, by the sheer chaos of it all. If you will permit me one academic note, it is worth pointing out that in the ancient Near East, the sea was not a calming presence. They didn't put pictures of it on postcards. No, the sea was a sign of utter chaos. It was the place where sea monsters lived. It is where people went and never returned. It was a reminder of the powerful forces that shaped their lives and their deaths, over which it was clear they had no control. And so it is both Pharaoh's army and this wall of chaos that has trapped God's people. And yet it is in that place that God's call and God's promise to the people comes. March on, says God. Keep going. And they do. And the seas open up before them and make a way. I love the image of the walls of water on either side as they move across the sea. They're walking right through the chaos. Chaos on either side, and they keep marching on. Robert Frost echoed the sentiment of this promise when he said that the best way out of something is through it. And this is our call to march on, to continue walking through these uncomfortable times, to keep on staying home, to keep on trying to do our best with the conflicting responsibilities and pressures, to keep on trying to do the impossible. It is our call because it is God's promise. It is God's promise that God is with us in exactly this place. And it is exactly through this experience, through this water, that God will bring us through to the other side and into life. And so as the water runs over our hands and over them again with the mountains of dishes we wash every day, as days and weeks bleed into one another and roll over us, as the fear and the courage pulls us back and forth like the tides, march on. It is our call, and it is God's promise. Amen.